Okay, good morning, goeiemorgen allemaal. How are you today? Awesome. So like I just said, my name is Eckhart. I'm from ADA. We do 4x4 training and we have been in the industry. I'll get into all that. So introduction a bit of ADA. We've been founded in 2005. And it's not been only at the forefront of experiential driver development for more than a decade, but it's also established itself as the leader in the industry, right? Due to, amongst other, an accident-free record and exceptional service. So we are also partnered with Nissan. We've launched all the Nissan Navaras, the Terras, the Magnite. We've launched the Mercedes-Benz X-Class. We've partnered with KTM and Honda. We've done all the 1290, 890 launches, the Africa Tour and the NT750 launches. Right, and then as it says here, that our venue also has a newly developed 1.5 kilometer rally track and a purpose-built obstacle course, which includes inclines and declines, cross-axle obstacles, rock beds and sand pits, as well as water and mud obstacles that are all ideal to demonstrate the capabilities of a 4x4 vehicle. Right, so ADA is a SOCWA qualified training institution to provide off-road training, so we are qualified with those standards, and we are the top, actually the only TITA accredited facility, and we have TITA qualified instructors with international training and experience. So TITA is the Training and Education Transport Authority, right? So if you want to do training for the police or for the military or anything like that, you need to be TITA accredited, right? So on the resources side, ADA is renowned for its world-class crew of multi-skilled, qualified instructors who are not only 4x4 TITA accredited, but also have completed a series of international training courses with the likes of Harley-Davidson, in the USA, Honda, and in Japan. We even went to South Sudan with the United Nations, and we went to Morocco with KTM. Also did some other international events with other companies as well. So, ADA provides training as we believe that every driver should have the opportunity to become the best he or she can for the purpose they acquired the vehicle. The best driver they can for the purpose they acquired the vehicle. So it doesn't help if you've got a very cool bakkie in the stud and you're driving around, you're going to Keier, and everyone asks, oh cool, does it have 4x4? And you don't even know what that means. You just say, yes, of course it does, it's got 4 wheels. What are you talking about? Right? You actually need to know what you're talking about. And we also believe that driver training contributes to safer driving as well as responsible environmental and community behaviors, which is very important in the industry that you guys will be going to, especially the environment. You can't just go bundu bashing, crashing down trees, going wherever you want to. You have to stay on the 2S-spoor bikey, all of those kind of stuff. And then ultimately every person should have the right to improve skills, expand their knowledge, and achieve their dreams. Right, so our flagship venue is in the Northwest. It's called ADA Training and Outdoor Center. So you can just put it to Google Maps and you'll know where it is. But it is situated 5 minutes away from the Hartbeespoort Dam, set in the beautiful and protected cradle of humankind, and our venue has much to offer. It's more or less 10 minutes away from the Lion Safari Park, if you guys know where that is. Cool. So we offer a full off-road training course, including a gravel skid pan, a tarmac surface, inclines, passes, and much more, as it has been set up to ensure that our students, and otherwise you guys, are equipped with the vital experience they need. With this, like he said, you will be driving an owner or a manager's Land Cruiser. You need to be able to take a client out or go recover a client who has stuck because it's raining the whole weekend, he's coming into the property. You have to recover him, get him out of the mud. Or there might be some scenario where you're doing 4x4, the owner asks you, listen, just go to Buffalo Corner, quickly go check the whatever, there's water dam, whatever it is. You can't get there. Now you're going to tell him, listen, boss, sorry, I'm not really that comfortable. He's not going to be very happy, and I don't think you'll stay there very long then. So, we offer 2 courses. We offer the 4x4 course, which covers aspects such as 4x4 dynamics, 4x4 transmission operation, engaging the diff lock and low range, and 4x4 driving techniques. As you can see on the skill level, it's intermediate. So you do not need any experience with 4x4 before, if you do not have it. If you do have it, it's obviously beneficial, but you do not require it. You do require a license. If you have just done your license, because some of you might be 19, please just get 2 or 3 months experience in a car to be comfortable in a car. Even if it's not a bakkie, even if it's a Yaris or whatever it is, please just get comfortable in it. Right? And then the duration is about 4 hours. So the workshop is 30% theory, 70% practical. So we don't want to bore you with words and images and all that. We want to show you actually how it works. And you also get a certificate of attendance after the workshop, which is lifelong. It doesn't expire. It's always good to refresh your knowledge, do it for other people as well, or come back to us, but it does not expire. So if you do it now, it's still valid for your third practical year. And our second course is the recovery course. So this course covers aspects such as winching techniques, the high lift jacks, an air jack, recovery straps, recovery points, all of those kind of things. Again, the skill level is intermediate. You don't need a lot of experience. Just be comfortable in the car. Duration is 3 hours. Again, 30% theory, 70% practical. And again, you'll get an additional certificate for this. So it's 2 certificates you can get, or you can just do one of the 2 if you'd like to. All right, then our prices. For the normal 4x4 course, usually it's 2,000 Rand. We brought off the Centurion Akademie students to 1,750. So please, if you do want to book, just make sure that you tell us that you are a Centurion Akademie student. We'll give you the 250 discount. And we provide the vehicle, the certificate, and obviously lunch. And you also get some refreshments during the day, so you don't have to pack anything. There are some snacks, some water, some juices, all of that. And then for the 4x4 recovery course, it's 2,500 Rand. We brought it down from 3 to 2.5 for you guys. And again, we provide the vehicle, certificate, the recovery gear, and also, again, a light lunch. Right, if you guys would like to take my number, that's my personal number, you can take that. info@ada.sa.co.za is the company's email, and that's our web address if you'd like that. And now I'm open for any questions you guys have. No questions, everyone happy? Can you? Okay, so, good question. The amount, how I understand the question is, how many students do you need to participate in the course? Yes, you're allowed to come in your own personal vehicle, but that will not change the price. So it's always better to come in your own vehicle. So if you do have a 4x4 bakkie or you have a all-wheel drive or whatever, it's always better to do it. But we do provide a vehicle, so it won't change the price of the course. Then also, you guys can come either 1-1, or you can come in groups of 4, 5, 6, 8, however you guys would like to. Again, it doesn't change the price. We do recommend coming in groups of about 4 to 6, because then you make some friends, and maybe this person asks some questions that you don't have, or does something wrong, and you might learn how to fix it. So it is always better to come in groups, but you are allowed to come 1-1 as well. Any other questions? None. Okay, awesome. Thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate your time.
is Michelle. She's from Wildlife Rescue South Africa. She will be talking about the wildlife rehabilitation course that she offers. And just a show of hands, who of you guys and girls are interested in wildlife rehabilitation? Okay, so there's quite a couple. Okay, take your notes back to usual. And let's welcome the organizers.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody, and welcome. Hello. And also hello to the people in Cape Town. We are streaming this to Cape Town students at the Centurion Akademie there as well. So, very quickly, a bit about me. My name is Michelle Watson. I am an internationally certified wildlife rehabilitator. I'm certified by the IWRC in the States. This is an organization that are really the people that control the level and the standards of wildlife rehabilitation around the world. So this certificate that I have is recognized around the world. Unfortunately, in South Africa, there are only 3 people that have ever passed the exam, and I'm the only one that's teaching this course. This course, which is almost exactly the same as what the IWRC teaches, I have adapted to make it more about South African species and taking into account some of our special issues that we have in South Africa, like poaching and the muti trade. Then I sent the course to the IWRC and they've approved it as a training course, which means that on completion of this course, you earn 10 continued education units towards doing their more advanced levels. This 2-day course is very much a basic introduction to wildlife rehabilitation. It just gives you a taste of what it is that you will need to know to one day maybe work as a wildlife rehabilitator in a rehab center. So I'm going to start off by just explaining what wildlife rehab is, because a lot of people perhaps don't know. It is a fairly new profession. It is really just starting to take off in South Africa, in fact. It's been very much a hobby, but now it's becoming more organized, and professional training is now becoming necessary in order to work as a wildlife rehabilitator. So, the International Wildlife Rehabilitation Council describe wildlife rehabilitation as the treatment and temporary care of injured, diseased, and displaced indigenous animals and the subsequent release of healthy animals into appropriate habitat in the wild. And there's some very important words here. We only deal with indigenous animals, and we're only dealing with animals that can be released in a healthy condition back into the environment where they belong. This course is based on this book, which is from the IWRC, a comprehensive approach. And I think just as a bit of background, let's have a look at what the IWRC is about.
Wild animals. We create resources that are used globally by governments, biologists, as well as non-government organizations. We generate the standards that lead to
That's a little bit about the IWRC, but let's just go into more detail. Where do we get our patients? Where do rehabbers end up with patients coming from? Well, firstly, let me go back. What are we doing? So, rehabbers provide a way for a compromised animal to be safely returned to its natural habitat. Data collection is so important, what rehabbers do, because we're on the forefront. We are the ones that are handling that animal. We're the ones that are examining it. We are the ones that see things like the prevalence of bird flu, for example. That information is coming from rehabbers who are dealing with animals every day. We raise awareness and education, but it also has some downsides. We are very often faced with some of the worst cases of suffering, and sometimes there have to be tough decisions need to be made. We also spend an awful lot of time doing animal conflict resolution. In other words, people that just don't want an animal in their property. So these patients come to us by accident. A lot of patients are hit by cars due to urbanization and development. They might be struck by power lines or tree felling. Poisoning is a massive issue. We see a lot of rodenticide poisoning. And then, of course, cat catchers brings in a lot of patients as well. There's also intentional conflict, in other words, people that are attacking animals due to superstition, throwing stones at owls, things like that. Hunting and deliberate poisonings are sometimes, for example, sentinel poisoning, poisoning for lion bone. All of those things are one of the subjects that we cover in the course. And then human interference. We deal a lot with the illegal pet trade, and of course those animals that now people realize are not a good pet, and they want it to now be rehabilitated. On the natural side, we also sometimes have to deal with patients from veld fires, from droughts, and these are just some of the cases that we've dealt with. Snares and all sorts of things. So this 2-day course is broken in over 2 days, 2 parts. Day 1 is suitable for complete beginners. It's an introduction to wildlife rehabilitation and first aid. And by day 2, we go into a lot more detail on some of the more complicated subjects. So let's have a look at the program. For day 1, we spend a lot of time talking about telephone triage. This is that phone call where a frantic person, I've just seen a snake in my garden, or I've just picked up a baby bird, dealing with those people, doing mitigation, relocating animals, relocating problem animals. And then we talk about restraint, capturing, handling, transporting animals. And then we go into first aid. So in first aid, we look at the things that affect most wildlife, the things that kill the most number of our patients. The number one thing is stress, shock. And then we actually do a physical exam. And yes, in the class, we do examine cadavers. So we will be looking at the anatomy. We'll be looking for injuries, trying to figure out the cause of death. We touch on subjects like poisoning, burns, cat catchers, and we look at flushing wounds. On day 1, we do some practical exams, such as strapping a broken wing, and then also learning about rehydration and techniques to rehydrate our patient. By day 2, that goes on to a more advanced level, and we look at the whole rehabilitation process, the steps that an animal goes through in rehab. We focus a bit on reptiles, and then on day 2, we do our physical exam on a mammal, again on cadavers, and we go into more detail about zoonotics and parasitology. The 2 very important subjects in rehab, release or euthanasia. We look at the options, the criteria, what we need to know about that. And then we go into more detail with wound treatment. We do leg strappings, oil contamination, and then pain management. At the end of the second day, we look at fluid therapy. We do, I don't know what is making that noise. We do fluid therapy, where we do a subcutaneous injection, and we learn how to hydrate a patient in an emergency in that way. And at the end of the second day, we talk about hand-raising baby mammals and baby birds. So what I've brought today is a few of my slides from the course, so you can just get a taste of what the course involves. For example, stress. We look at capture myopathy, how this might affect you as farm managers, chasing animals, stressing animals out, releasing animals, what those effects of stress can be on those animals. This is so important, especially in the field that you guys are going into. We will also look at some case studies, for example, head and spinal trauma, like this one. First prize, anyone can tell me what species of owl that is? Come guys, what species? Yes. Yes, very good. This is a marsh owl. He obviously has a head trauma. You can see there is some damage to his eyes. He's not seeing that food. This bird was completely blind. So we look at examples like that in the course. We discuss the treatment for them. And then we also talk about ways of treating patients in our care. We then go on to a skeletal examination, where we examine, as I said, our cadavers, we look for breaks, and then we also learn a skill such as strapping a bird's wing. This is called a figure-of-8 strap. It's a very basic technique to be able to secure a broken wing. You practice this in the course. You get to do some different species. We usually have a variety of different species that you practice on. It gives you a bit of first-hand training as to what to do in an actual emergency if you find a bird with a broken wing. All right. Then on the first day, we also learn to tube birds. This is a form not only of hydrating a patient, but saving a patient that is maybe suffering from emaciation. We can provide a liquid diet like this barn owl is getting. We talk about things in more detail, like burns, and we also deal with the Wildlife Center of Virginia, where we can use some of their material. Remember that rehab is rehab. No matter what species you're talking about, around the world, rehabbers all work to the same practices and they use the same skills. So we log in with, for example, the Wildlife Center of Virginia, and then, as I said, we learn subcutaneous injections as well. At the end of day 2, we start talking about food pyramids, nutrition in wildlife, the concept of abundance, and how important it is to give our animals the correct nutrition and to feed them appropriately so that we don't have this. Emaciation, this is called angel wings, extreme dehydration, malnutrition, and the picture on the right, metabolic bone disease, something that as wildlife rehabilitators we need to be completely aware of with every patient that we deal with. Then at the end of day 2, we talk about hand-raising birds, and we look at the different stages of raising, for example, baby birds. This is on day 7. And then the difference on the way they eat, or can they eat, do they know how to pick up food on their own by day 14? Now they know what their food is, but do they know how to pick it up? Like all animals, like humans, they have to learn how to use that knife and fork still. They haven't quite got the hang of it. And then we learn that by day 21, they're now recognizing their correct diet, and they're able to eat on their own and become independent birds, and we prepare them for release. Next slide. There we go. We also talk about mammals, raising baby mammals. We look at the basics, the principles of it, and methods, nutrition. We touch on these subjects on the second day of the course as well, so that you could rescue, for example, this little baby scrub hare. And then, of course, we'll end off the day by talking about release criteria and the way that we need to release our patients, the state they need to be released in, and location as well. So to sum up, here's a little video again from the IWRC, just to summing up what wildlife rehab is about. All right, so if you feel that this is something that suits you, that's something you'd like to get into, then this course is going to be run here on campus or in the Cape Town campus, and we run it over a weekend, a Saturday and Sunday. There are some dates that have been looked at as possible options during your breaks, because we don't want you to have to go from Friday to Monday just working. So we're looking at doing the holidays, running it as a 2-day course here. I have a sign-in sheet there. If one of those dates seems suitable for you, you can put your name down now. And the cost, of course. So this 2-day weekend of intensive learning is only 1,800 Rand per person. I think it's very affordable. I have kept the prices low, especially for the Centurion Academy students, because we really need as many people as possible to know how to save animals, how to do first aid, how to do some basic rescue. It is so important because every species at the moment is being affected by us through urbanization, through development, hit by cars, power lines. That is all our responsibility. And wildlife rehabilitation is a way of balancing out the scales, putting those animals back, and being able to contribute to conservation in that way. Thank you very much for your time. And now, any questions? Everybody all right? All right, so I'm going to be around here if you think of any questions you'd like to ask later. Yes? Sorry? Yes, so let's have a look. For here in Centurion, we haven't discussed Cape Town yet for those guys, but it's going to be July. July the 23rd and 24th, a Saturday and a Sunday, and then the second alternative date would be August the 13th and 14th. All right. Good, thank you so much. Oops. Thank you so much, guys.
Academy for this great opportunity to again come and visit you guys. We've been walking a long road together. I think it's now, how many years, David? Maybe 10 plus years that I've been training the students and stuff. So it's again a great privilege for me to help you guys in equipping yourselves for your future. All right, because that's why I'm here. I'm here to actually assist you guys and help you to become a better conservator, a naturalist, whatsoever direction you're walking or going into in your life. I'm going to try and help you guys with some of the experiences that I had. I've been in conservation now the last 22 years on a daily basis. I'm also with Pretoria Conservation. And so I've had a couple of experiences, and that's why at this stage in my life I enjoy giving that over to guys like yourself. Now, I used to have only one product, and since last year, we introduced a second product for you guys, and the response was quite exciting. The second product is the game capture course, where we will be giving you guys an opportunity, obviously, to work hands-on with the game itself. But I'm going to leave that be till last. Let's start with the first product, and I believe the biggest necessity that you guys need at this stage in the beginning of your career, and that is to do the dangerous snake handling course and to do the snake identification. Now, just to give you guys an idea where I come from and to sketch for you guys a picture why this is a necessity is for the following reason. You might end up one day on a lodge, hopefully working in wildlife, and you will definitely, sooner or later, end up in a situation where you're going to receive a phone call or you're going to get a call on the radio which will say, listen, there's a snake in chalet 4 and we've got a problem. It needs to be removed because the people cannot book into the chalet unless you get rid of the snake. Okay, so now that's where the whole panic situation starts. And I can understand you need to panic if you don't know what you're doing. And this is something that is not part of your physical course, but this is an extra product that we offer here and that I offer where I'm going to assist you and teach you the correct procedures and how to do it. All right, I've got just 2 snakes here today that I'm just quickly going to pull out of their containers. And just to give you guys an idea of the type of handling that we're going to look into. But first of all, let's start with the explaining part of the course itself. Now, the course is broken up into 2 parts. First module is snake identification. All right? This is the theory part of the course. Now, it will take you approximately a full day to complete this module. We usually start something like 8 o'clock in the morning, and we run through all the various different categories of the course, starting with the fear factor, which I believe is very important, to get you guys over that fear. All right, we break down the fear, because if I cannot get that right, I cannot deal with you for the rest of the day. I need to get your mindset ready. And so it's a platform that I need to prepare. Now, that mental part is my baby. I just need you to attend. Don't you worry about that part. Now, I know a couple of you guys are really afraid and really scared. And if you are that person, then you are the best person to apply for this course. All right, because I'm going to help you sort that out. And believe it or not, we can do it in one day. All right, and out of experience, and some of the lecturers, you can anytime go and have a chat with them. They have seen it with their own eyes, where a student walks in 8 o'clock in the morning, and they go like that, all right? And at the end of the day, that particular person ends up being the best handler in the course. And that is just how we do, how I help you do that mind switch, to get your focus on the correct stuff. All right, so we're going to deal with the fear factor, and then obviously we're going to go into detail into the identification of snakes. All right, so we'll be looking at all the different families of snakes that we find in South Africa, venomous and non-venomous, but there will be obviously special emphasis on the 14 lethal snake species that we have in South Africa. All right, and at the end of the day, the last section of this theory is the most important part, where I will be dealing with you guys in every category of the different snake venom types. I will be explaining which snakes belong to which families, which has what type of venom, and obviously the most important, I'm going to tell you guys and help you how to address a snake bite. All right. So you will be fully equipped with all the knowledge that you need to do a proper identification of the snake, as well as have the knowledge of what's the medical factors that you need to know how to deal with a physical snake bite situation. Obviously, all the information before you get to hospital. All right. So I will help you guys go through all that procedures and know what to look for and what to do and what not to do in that event. All right. So it's going to be very interesting. You're going to enjoy the day. It's a lot of information. But the nice thing about this course is you're not going to sit there the whole day listening to somebody just talking like I'm doing right now. Physically, we're going to have the snakes that comes out of the containers constantly. So if I talk about a brown house snake, I will take out the brown house snake. If I talk about a different species of snake, most of them, I will have them there to show them to you guys, to get a better idea what to look for when it comes to the identification of snakes. So it's going to be a practical session, which is actually, it's a theory course, but it's going to be very practical during the course of the day. You will also have your workbooks given to you in the morning before we start the course. That work booklet, you're going to work through that throughout the entire day in the theory part. There's a lot of information that is lacking in the booklet that you need to write in your own information. All right, so it's going to be an interactive course that you guys are going to enjoy. All right, and now here's the cherry on the cake. Okay, so that is the theory part, and now we're getting to the practical part. So make sure that you understand that this is 2 courses actually in one. You will be doing both in the same day, but it's 2 different categories. The theory part is an NKF level 2, and the practical part, the dangerous snake handling course, is an NKF level 4. All these courses are CETA accredited. Our accreditor is Drumbeat Academy. So you will be receiving 2 certificates at the end of this course, which I think is very interesting and very nice for your CV. Snake ID and dangerous snake handling. That will be on your 2 certificates. All right, now let's talk about the dangerous snake handling. Obviously, you will go through a briefing, first of all, on equipment, how to utilize the equipment, what is do's and don'ts, for what species do you use what equipment. All right. After you're done with that, then we're going to physically start with the course itself. All right, now, what are we going to expect from you in that course? The following. You need to handle 4 different highly venomous snakes to complete your dangerous snake handling task. First of all, you will start with a puff adder, all right? After that, that is your entry level. I think that's the easiest of the venomous snakes to handle. So we start with that to just break the ice and get you into the thing. And then after that, we will be looking at 3 other species that everybody have to handle. Mozambique spitting cobra, snouted cobra, and a wrinkles. All 4 species. All right. Just to give you guys an idea, I'm going to quickly do a practical demonstration. I'm just going to take out the puff adder quickly to just give you an idea what to expect. All right, just to give you guys an idea, I'm just going to give us a short briefing on what I've got in my hand. Now, this is the normal, what we call the hook stick, and we call it the V-shaped hook stick. You get 2 different types of models. You get the V-shape, and you get your U-hook. All right, now with the U-hook, it works very nicely with your larger, fatter snakes, help to support and handle them. But when it comes to smaller snakes, and especially when you deal with black mambas, a hook stick is very important. They hate a grab stick. So it's very, very difficult working with black mambas with a grab stick. It's far easier to work with something like a hook stick. They are much more relaxed, and that is what you want. You don't want a snake that is aggravated, you want a relaxed snake. All right, so certain species prefer certain equipment. So the V-hook stick, I will be showing you guys all the techniques, how to pick them up, how to handle them. With puff adders, because they are quite fattish, all right, they like to be picked up in the first quarter of the body, just like I'm doing right there. All right, and then I will be also dealing with all the characteristics, obviously, when we do the training. Like, for instance, triangular shaped head, the body that is fat. It's a shortish type of snake. All three of those combined characteristics is an example of a viper. All right, so this is a typical viper snake, and we'll be dealing with all the different vipers in South Africa, how to identify, but you will be handling only the puff adder as an example. All right, so what I'll expect from you to do is, you will have a puff adder in a situation like this. All right, the snake is on the move. All right. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, the snake is on the move in a situation like this. Just as an example, it's very difficult to hook the snake while he's moving from the side. So a technique that I'll be showing you guys, which is very easy. You place the hook stick in front of the snake moves through the hook, and at the correct point in time, when the snake is when the hook is 1/4 down the body's length, then you do the actual pickup and the hooking of the snake. And from there on, I will be teaching you guys how to place the snake in a container, what's the safe procedures, how to close the container in the correct way without showing your fingers, without placing yourself in a dangerous situation. So that is an example of just the vipers. And let's move over to the next species, and that's the cobras. All right, now when it comes to the spitting cobras, obviously the safety features is the most important thing. You will be getting all the equipment to work with in the course. All right? We will also have the equipment for you available afterwards. We will talk about that right now. But the most important thing is you just need to show up, have long pants, closed shoes. That's the most important thing that you'll need for the course, and I will do the rest. Okay, so in this event, all right, I've got my proper long pants on, my shoes are closed, I've got the correct glasses on to protect my eyes, and then I've got also the correct equipment, the grab stick. All right, now grab stick, very, very important piece of equipment when it comes to snakes, but for certain species only. All right, now when we deal with the cobras, the reason why we prefer something like a grab stick is for a simple reason. It's a thin, slender snake, and it's a very fast-moving snake. So what you want to achieve is you want to get the snake under control, and with the hook stick, sometimes it's very tricky if he's quickly on the move to get the grip of it and get your hands on the snake. But with the grab stick, it makes it just that little bit more easier. You pin the snake down, and you've got better control over the snake. All right, now what I'll be expecting from you in the course, you will have a scenario, and I'm going to quickly sketch the scenario for you physically. Okay, everybody can understand this is not a brown house snake. Okay, so this is kind of serious. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you guys to be totally relaxed in a situation like this. All right, now, I know you cannot see that happening right now for yourself, but that is why I have to work with your mindset to get you in a relaxed, calm, and collected situation. The reason why I need to get you calm and collected is I need you to concentrate on what you have to do. And you cannot concentrate if you're under stress and if you're afraid of working with an animal. So that's what I'm going to concentrate on, working on your mental side to get you to be 100% relaxed next to a cobra like I'm standing right here. Okay. Now, the most important thing to remember is where to pick up the snake, how to pick it up, and how to use your equipment. And that's where the course is so important. So just to give you guys an idea, he just spat in my face just now. I just felt it in my face. So that's very important why you have to have the glasses on. All right. Now, if a snake faces you just like this, the most important thing in the case of a cobra, he actually shows you a sweet spot. All right, you go down the neck area. All right, and there he spat right into my mouth. Very, very vulgar taste. All right, and as the snake goes down, he gives you the sweet spot where you can pick the snake up. It's important to keep the snake away from your body. All right, to keep it always safe. All right. Okay, must I rather move that this side? Okay, let me just quickly get this. All right, I'm going to rather try and work on this side, otherwise we get the speakers distorts a lot. All right, okay. Again, here we've got the situation of the snake moving away from me. What I'll be teaching you guys is to place yourself in a safe spot, always behind the snake like I'm standing right now. All right, and working from the back over the snake. All right. You never try and face the snake if it's not necessary. So always try and place yourself away from the sharp side, obviously, first. All right, and then when you pick the snake up, I'll be expecting you guys to take it and send it into a pipe, all right? Because the pipe will be your transportation device. All right, and as the snake is in the container or in the pipe, all right, now the most important thing is also to close it in a safe manner. All right. And here's your snake now ready for transportation. So this is all that I'm going to teach you guys, and I will want you guys to concentrate on. But as I say, while you are doing the handling, the physical handling of the snake, I will be assisting everyone individually and making sure that you use the correct techniques and do it in the correct manner. All right. Can you guys see why it's easier to work with the pipe, with a cobra, with the wrinkles? It wasn't, or the puff adder, it wasn't the issue to place it in the container. But now with the wrinkles and a faster moving snake, and even with a black mamba worse, you don't want to try and put a black mamba in here. He's going to give you a run for your money. So the pipe is really going to save your life, make your life much easier to get a venomous snake in there. All right, okay. So I think everybody is getting a simple idea of what the course is all about. All right, I'm just going to show you guys as we walk around. Look what happened there. Real snake venom all over the show. All right. I would have definitely had a blind moment if I didn't have the glasses on just now. All right, so it's very important to go through your safety features. It was a dangerous situation, but look how nicely we handled the situation. There was never a point in time where I was in trouble because I had all the correct equipment in place. I was ready to handle the situation. So I want to place you guys in the same situation. I want to help you guys, after you walk out of that course, to be in the position, if you've got your own equipment, and you get a call out to go and sort out that problem at the lodge. Get that snake out and go and release it into the bush. All those little drops there. Real snake venom. All right. Okay. Now, obviously, pricing. Are you guys ready? Can we go through the pricing of the courses? Okay. Your first module, snake identification, 700 Rand per person. All right? That is your module 1. All right. Now, what is important to know is you need to complete snake identification to be able to go over dangerous snake handling. You cannot skip the one. You need to start with ID. I need to work with you guys, get you being cool with the idea of being around a snake. Okay, working with your mental side, working on that fear factor, break that down, and get you guys to understand how to medically handle a snake bite. All right, so that's snake identification, 700 Rand per person. Dangerous snake handling, module 2, exactly the same, 700 Rand per person. So at the end of the day, 2 CETA accredited courses, 2 certificates that you'll be receiving for 1/4. I think that's a nice deal. So you guys are welcome if there's any questions that we can quickly chat about that. The equipment, I'm just working on the new pricing for this season. It used to be, I think, 2,600 Rand for a whole equipment set last year. We will see if the prices can remain the same, but that's more or less an idea of what a full equipment set can cost you, but that is optional. So it's up to you guys. You decide for yourself what is in the combo set. It will be a canvas carry bag. In it, you will find your pipe to place the snake in, the grab stick, the hook stick, and then obviously your safety glasses. All of that fully complete in one set, one carry bag. You place it in your vehicle, and you're ready to go handle a snake capture situation. All right, so that's all up to you. You guys can go and chew on that, and go chew on your mom and your dad about the equipment and stuff, but we can handle that during the course of the course itself, that we can chat about how can we get the equipment to you or whatsoever. So, but the courses are, I think, the most important part that we're going to handle when you go for your first camp, and that will be in Dinukeng. All right, Kualata. All right, so that is concerning those courses. All right, any questions on the snake ID and handling? Anything that is unclear that I must quickly clarify for you guys? Are you happy with all the information? All right, the payment information will be with the lecturers. All right. If you guys want to book and pay for the courses, usually you just use your name and your name and surname as a reference number on the payments. And then, obviously, if you do the full course, it will be 1/4. Otherwise, if you do only the snake ID, it will only be 700. Okay. So you guys can go and work that through with your parents and all of that, and then we take it from there further. All right, now the second product. I'm not going to spend much time on this because there's not much needed to be said. But last year, the students which attended actually had a great fun and learned a lot. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to give you guys also an opportunity this year to be part of our game capture company. All right. So what this involves is you get the opportunity for a full day to come out with our team, which, just to give you guys an idea of our team, I've got a very, very knowledgeable vet that is part of the capture team, and then other fellow workers and stuff where we physically work with the animals itself. But you will be part of that capture operation. Now, that capture operation consists out of darting. We will be darting, and so we will be chemically immobilizing the game. All right, so you will have all the features. The vet will also brief you on the safety features, what is important, what to do, what not to do in a situation like a capture. The drugs is very, very dangerous, as you all know. So you will be thoroughly briefed how to operate and deal with a capture situation. And as we dart the animals, you will be also part of the team, getting your hands on the animal, getting the animal to the trailers, waking the animals up, and making sure that they are in good health. So this is usually a full day operation, because you will not be dealing only with one animal. You will have the opportunity to work with various different animals. Depending on what the day entails, some days we concentrate on one species, other days we do 2 or 3 different species. Just depends on the day. All right, so what you'll need to do to complete the capture courses, you'll have to at least attend once. But you will have the opportunity, if you're really interested, and it happened last year with some of the students that are really so interested in it and they enjoyed it so much that they asked, listen, but we enjoyed it so much, can't we come along a second time? You're more than welcome, 100%. So we will just make sure we give everybody that is interested in the course, that signs up for the course, that they get a first a priority to have a first experience. After that, then obviously we do captures continuously, so there's a lot of opportunities. Then we'll give you guys a second and a third round, all up to you for your own knowledge to just broaden your horizons on that. So, and during the day, you are obviously going to ask questions and talk to the vet, but why this and why not that? Why do you do that? Why don't we do it this way? And you will also find that the species, once they're under getting into that narcosis setup, every species has got a different way in which they handle the drugs. And that's also interesting to learn what to expect from what species and how to address that situation. All right, so it's going to be a hands-on session. You will have beautiful photographs, handling the animals, all of that. So it's going to be really a hands-on great experience in your life. And hopefully you guys are going to enjoy it just as much as I do. All right, so the price of that course, because it's a little bit more intense and all of that, is 2,000 Rand per person. All right. And you will be receiving also a certificate that says that you have attended the game capture course. All right. So that is basically the three products that I'm offering to you guys. The one is a combined product of the ID and the handling, and then the other one is the game capture course. So you guys are more than welcome to sign up with your lecturers. They will be informing me who you guys are interested and who signs up for what course. Okay, so we'll communicate through the lecturers to your site and stuff. So 100%. But I'm looking forward to seeing all of you guys at your first camp. I'm going to be sleeping over. I'm going to be joining you guys. I'm going to be there. So looking forward, and best of luck for your year. Hope you guys do well, and hopefully this is what you really want to do with your life. All right, so best of luck. Thank you for the opportunity, guys.
Okay, baie dankie. Hoeveel tyd het ek? 0:30. Okay, goed. Ek hoor ek moet Engels praat. Dit maak my altyd bang om Engels te praat, want my oupa grootjie het op Engelse geskiet. So, hy's daarom nou gelukkig nie hier nie, anders wat ek in moeilikheid. So, I'm going to jump around English and Afrikaans, okay. Ek is meer gemaklik met 'n Afrikaanse kursus, ek praat lekker Afrikaans in die kursus, so, ek gaan Afrikaans en Engels deur mekaar praat, okay. Soos julle gehoor het, ek is David Sutherland, ek bied die PH, wat ons noem die PH kursus, aan daar naby Valwater. Ek het die akademie daarso en ek doen meeste van my kursusse daar. Net 'n kort agtergrond, die kursus is 10 dae lank. Jy kom op die Sondag aan en jy gaan tot die daaropvolgende Woensdag gaan jy aan. Jy het 'n Saterdagmiddag af, dis die enigste tyd wat jy af het, verder is ons besig die hele tyd. Die kursus is 'n nasionaal geakkrediteerde Professional Hunting and Hunting Outfitters course. So that includes 2 qualifications. It's the professional hunting qualification. Now, a professional hunter is a person which guides a client on a hunt in the field. The hunting outfitter is the guy which markets hunting. He goes overseas, he recruits clients, he enters into financial agreements with clients, and he offers facilities and properties for the client to hunt. So the professional hunter actually works under the hunting outfitter. It can, of course, be the same person too. So the qualification that you do is a professional hunting and hunting outfitters course. That is why we do marketing, administration, all that type of thing as well, because that then includes the hunting outfitter side. So dit is dan 2 kwalifikasies. That is a nationally accredited course. What that means is all the provinces have approved the course. So let's assume you do the course with me and you pass and you want to go and hunt in Mpumalanga or register as a professional hunter in Mpumalanga. Then all you have to do in Mpumalanga is write their law. They will then give you recognition for the general that you did with me and the practical that you did with me. So in other words, you don't have to do the course again. You just write that province where you want to act as a professional hunter, you write their law exam. Okay, so in kort, ek wil net vir julle gou verduidelik waaroor gaan die kursus. Bietjie waaruit dit bestaan en sovoorts. Hier is ouens wat reeds die kursus gedoen het. Jy moenie vir hulle luister nie, hulle lieg vreeslik, hoor. Ek is bang hulle sê vir julle dis moeilik. Okay, dit is nie so moeilik nie. Jy kan dit doen, enige een kan dit doen. Dis net bietjie, dis baie werk en ou moet maar hard werk vir 10 dae, dis al. Maar ons probeer dit so lekker as moontlik maak. We try and make the course as enjoyable as possible. That is the first requirement of the course, is it must be enjoyable. Good. So the course consists of 3 basic parts. The first part is your theory. So your theory is your law. When you come to me in Valwater, it will be the Limpopo Nature Conservation Law. And you need to learn how to understand the law and how to apply the law. So in other words, it won't just be parrot fashion learning. You'll have to be able to apply the law. For example, the question would maybe be in the exam is, may my client hunt a porcupine at night with a spotlight in the vegetable patch without a permit or a license? Would it be legal or not? Then you've got to be able to interpret the law and say, okay, it's the client hunting. What is he hunting with? A .22 rimfire. When is he hunting? He's hunting at night. Where is he hunting? He's hunting in the vegetable patch. He doesn't have a permit or a license. Where does a porcupine fall in the law? What does the law say about porcupines? So if you understand that, and you can apply the law, then you can answer the question. So that's why we start the first day with the law, so that I do revision with you in the mornings. I go through the law with you, and then we do scenario type questions, like what I'm asking you now. So that by the end, you understand the law and you can apply it, because there's about 30 questions in the law exam which are interpretation questions, like the one I've just given you. The rest is documentation, goes about written permissions, the schedules, CITES, Convention for International Trade in Endangered Species, there's a little bit of that in there. So it's not that difficult as long as we start the first day and we do revision every day so that you can understand how to learn or how to apply the law. The second exam is a general exam. Now this general exam, we have lectures regarding shot placement, ballistics, bow hunting, bird hunting, tracking, spoor identification, all that, the skinning, trophy handling. We do all those lectures in class, and then at the end you write a general exam, and this general exam then covers all these subjects. You'll have like a general exam, you'll have 5 marks on trophy handling, and then 5 on bow hunting, and then bird hunting, and then ballistics, and optics, binoculars, telescopes, that type of thing. The exam is a monkey puzzle or multiple choice exam, and all that you really write is your animal identification. There are slides which you have to identify the animals, your Roland Warden SCI minimum trophy sizes that you've got to learn, and the last thing you actually write is your spoor identification. They will show you slides of spoor. Obviously, this is all at the end of all the lectures that we've done on spoor identification, etc., etc. And then it's the practicals. Now, the practical that I'm talking without going on the slide. Yeah, let me see. Okay, yeah, that's theory. And then we do, like you can see on the slide over there, we're busy doing animal and bird identification. So we do quite a lot of animal and bird identification on the course. And in the exam, they generally like to give you, for example, game birds, because a professional hunter should be able to identify the game birds. And then they like to put in as well your specially protected birds in the law, like a bald ibis and a corrie bustard and etc. Those birds. So it's not little, they won't put in the LBJs. Hulle gaan jy nie daai klein voeltjies vra nie, want dit is nie regtig van toepassing op beroepsjag nie. So dit is die klaswerk, and that's the theory, the law and the general that I was talking about. Okay, there's a picture of the classroom. Herken julle dit? Okay, so there's the picture of the class, and that is where we do all our lectures. We try and do all our practicals in the afternoon and then the lectures in the morning. Okay, but there is some, because there's quite a lot of work we've got to get through, some afternoons we'll also do theory. Okay, and then horn judging. Now we're getting to the practicals. Now, normally students are quite intimidated when they get there by horn judging, for example. Now, horn judging is one of those things, what did Gary Player say about golf? The more I practice, the luckier I get. Now, horn judging is exactly the same. Jy moet dit oefen, oefen, oefen. En dis hoekom ons die eerste dag begin, en dit is hoekom jou horingskat op die kursus is jou heel laaste evaluering wat ons doen. So the very last assessment is your horn judging, to give you the maximum benefit to practice, because we practice it every day. So as you can see, there's a lot of horns over there, which we use for horn judging, because you need to do new horns every day. So what we'll do is we'll go out and then we'll do a mock exam. 10 horns, you come close forward, we will then assess your measuring or your judging, and then you go back, we do another 10, you come back, we assess, and that's how you practice and practice. And the human brain is quite good at recognizing or picking up a norm. You will then quickly start seeing what a 20-inch impala looks like, and a 22-inch impala, and a 24-inch impala. And you'll be surprised how quickly you actually improve. The guys start, they get 4, 2, 3 out of 20, and then they end very well. So, guys, this is not something you need to be worried about. The big thing is practice, practice, practice. Trophy measuring is another practical. A professional hunter has got to be able to measure trophies for his clients. The 2 measuring systems we'll work with is the Roland Ward, which is an international measuring system, and Safari Club International is an international measuring system. So we work on those two, not a local measuring system, because your client is going to be an international client. So you guys are going to have to measure 10 trophies yourself, obviously after the lectures, and this is one of the practicals, is your practical horn measuring. Now, while I'm here now and while I'm talking to you about this, you should understand what our whole approach is towards assessment. You know, you have a student come there and you can assess him and say, sorry, okay, you didn't pass, you failed, come back on the next course, next student. And then we achieve nothing, actually. But on every assessment that you do, you have a chance for a reassessment. So you can do a reassessment. I'll tell you, okay, this you got wrong, this you got wrong. Just go and check up on this. You go and you do it. You come back. I assess you again. You pass. And now we've achieved something, because now we have a competent student. So there's only one assessment which you don't get a reassessment, and I'll talk to you about that just now. Okay, so horn measuring, there's actually two horn measuring assessments. The one is your actual practical measuring, waar jy self meet, en ons kyk dan wat het jy gekry vir jou meting, en dan jou kennis van die meetmetodes. Your knowledge of the measuring systems. How do I measure a buffalo's boss for Safari Club International? And then you can demonstrate how it's done. Drying out periods for Safari Club International and Roland Ward. Which trophies do I measure to the nearest 16th of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch? So that is your knowledge of the system. So that is one assessment. Your other assessment is in your practical measuring, where you actually got to measure yourself. Okay, the shooting. You are your own biggest enemy in the shooting. The guys stress so much. I don't know why. Jy weet, veral op die spoedskiet. Die ou staan daar so, nou staan ek agter hom, nou moet hy 3 skote skiet in 15 sekondes. Jou teikens is daar, jy kan die teikens sien. Sien jy, daar's 10, 20 en 30. Daai 3 wit teikens. En dan staan die ou daar op sy senuwees, hy staan so in ruk, hy ruk soos 'n Ford met 'n racing cam. Staan die man daar in ruk, nee. En dan sê ek vir hom 3, 2, 1, 4. En dan short stroke hy, en is hierdie stories, en 15 sekondes is eintlik baie lank. It's a lot of time. 5 seconds per shot. Count up to 5, and you think that's the time you have for one shot. So, guys, the speed shooting is the one where the guys stress. Jy kry partykeer 'n ou met so 'n rustige geaardheid. Niks pla hom nie. Hy kom daar so met die spoedskiet en dan sê jy vir hom 3, 2, 1, skiet. Jy weet daai soort ou. Dan skiet hy 3 skote, almal in 13 sekondes. O, dis maklik. So, want hy's net een van daai super chilled ouens. Hy's so kalm soos 'n daggewalm, die man. En ander ouens is net weer 'n bietjie gestres. Daai tipe ou, hy's bietjie, en hulle sukkel partykeer 'n bietjie met die spoedskiet. Maar weer eens, jy kry 3 geleenthede. As jy eers een nie maak nie, kan jy weer skiet. As jy hom nie maak nie, kan jy weer skiet. So, die tweede evaluering, the second shooting assessment is your 100 meter assessment of shooting sticks. Now, you can use a bipod or a tripod, but you shoot from shooting sticks. And we got that typical, you know that big Impala target, daai groot rooibok SA jagter rooibok teiken wat jy kry. Ons teken 'n A4 op hom, en dan die longe, en dan die hart, en dan is daar, die A4 is 'n 1, die longe is 'n 2, die hart is 'n 3. Jy moet 'n 7 uit 10 skiet. So, ja, as jy 2 is 2 longskote en 'n hartskoot, dan is dit 'n 7, dan is jy deur. So, en nou dat ek sê 7 uit 10, all the assessments on the course, the pass mark is 70%. So it doesn't matter if it's your law exam, general exam, or practicals or whatever, the pass mark is 70%. 7-0. Okay, so, en dan kry jy weer 'n kans om te skiet op jou rooibok teiken ook. Jy kry ook 3 kansse. Maar daar's eintlik bitter min mense wat die rooibok teiken nie deurkom nie. Almal kom uit. Vir al die ouens wat my geweer gebruik, hy's baie akkuraat. So, goed, so dit is die skietbaan op die plaas daar by my, jy kan sien ons het goeie reëns gehad, kyk hier loop die water. Trofee fotografie. So elke beroepsjagter, ek hou aan Afrikaans praat al. Every professional hunter has to know how to take a trophy photograph. And it's not as easy as you think. So what we're going to do is, I have a photography lecture. First we'll talk about cameras. How do cameras work? Settings on cameras. What are the settings that a professional hunter uses on a camera to create a desired effect on the picture? So we'll talk about all that, and then the second part of the lecture is how to take the trophy picture. This is the most important part of the lecture. How do you set the animal up in a natural position? Is there blood on the animal? Is the foreground clean? Is the trophy silhouetted? Did you use the rule of thirds? Is the client in the right position? Is the rifle in the right position? So we'll talk about this in the class, and then we go out and we shoot an animal, and then you guys each one of you get the opportunity to be the professional hunter. You will then set somebody else up with a rifle, and you'll take a picture, and once everybody's taken the trophy picture, we go to class and we put your pictures on the projector, and then we have a look at your pictures. Now, this is the only reassessment where you don't get a chance, or assessment where you don't get a chance for a reassessment. Jy kry nie 'n tweede kans nie. Ons gaan nie aanhou bokke skiet tot jy deurkom nie. Nee, so, maar ek moet bysê, as jy net toepas wat ons in die klas gedoen het, dan is dit nie so moeilik nie. Ek het nou net Woensdag klaar gemaak met 'n kursus, almal is die fotografie deur. Want hulle het net toegepas wat ons in die klas gepraat het. En nou moet my net 'n bietjie konsentreer op dit, dan is dit nie so moeilik nie. So, trofee fotografie, wat nog? Verkeerde kant. Dis 'n belangrike een, né? Okay, die ouens wat daar was, hulle sal vir jou sê, julle moet lekker eet. Nee, jy lekker geëet. Maar jy is nog net so maar. Okay, so ouens, die eetgedeelte is net so belangrik. En waarop dit neerkom, is die kursus moet lekker wees. Julle moet dit geniet. Jy weet, ons het 'n paar reëls. 'n Ou moet byvoorbeeld betyds wees in die klas. As jy 'n groot groep is, of nie groot nie, 12 mense, dan moet 'n ou lekker saamwerk, want dit help nie jy probeer iets doen en die helfte van die klas is nie daar nie. So, solank ons lekker dissipline het daarso, en almal is betyds vir ete, en ons hoef nie vir ouens te wag nie. Die groot ding is, die kursus moet lekker wees, julle moet dit geniet. En deel van die ding is bietjie kuier in die aande met 'n vuur. En natuurlik, die gekuier is moeilik, want ek het nou al gesien, as die vure uitbik, as dit 'n vuur maak, dan kom die bure uit en dan is dit jagstories. En dan is die ouens die volgende dag so dom soos grond. Nou, so ouens, ons kan nie elke aand vure maak nie, want that is not very conducive to learning. So wat ons doen is, die eerste aand as julle daar aankom, die Sondag aand, dan maak vuur en kuier, want daar's geen druk of niks nie, en dan maak ons eers weer vuur die Saterdag aand. Saterdagmiddag is af, en dan maak ons vuur en gaan aan. En natuurlik, ek het vergeet om vir julle te sê, en julle moet ook besef, ek het nie nou, I didn't go through all the practicals with you. There's, for example, shot placement on the laptop. You got to sit and do shot placement on the laptop. Skinning, slag. Julle kry 'n skaapkop om te slag. As jy hom pluk, moet jy hom eet. So, ja, ja, dit gebeur dikwels, ons pluk as prins. Now, so guys, you were going to skin a sheep's head. The reason why we do a sheep's head is we can't always get a whole lot of impala heads for all the students. So we use sheep's heads, but sheep's heads are a very good thing actually, because sheep head is one of the most difficult heads possibly to skin, because it's got lots of subcutaneous fat under the skin. It's got lots of fat, and you've got to remove that. The glands are in the eyes, yeah, in the skull. You mustn't cut the glands. The ears have often been notched. Hulle knip die ore so om hulle te merk, en dan moet jy om dit slag. So, as jy 'n skaap kan slag, nee, kan jy enige iets slag, regtig. So, die ouens slag, julle slag Vrydagmiddag, slag julle koppe, ons evalueer dit, En die ouens wat die slag nie deur is nie, hulle slag dan, as die ander ouens lekker slaap Saterdagmiddag, dan slag die ouens wat nie deurgekom het nie Vrydag. So, jy moet Vrydag deurkom, want jy vind nie te slag vir Saterdag nie. Okay. En my vrou, sy doen die slagwerk, baie van die slagwerk, en sy help die studente met die slag. En ek vang haar nou en dan dat sy vir hulle slag maak. Kom ek wys jou wie sy is. Stand up quickly, please, Judy. Stand up quickly. Daar's my vrou, Jenny. Okay. So, sy sal vir julle help met caping ook. So, ja, wat 'n ander prakties het ek nie met julle bespreek nie. Dit was die meting, die skootplasing, die skiet, die trofee skat, die fotografie. Het ek iets vergeet? Julle manne. Ek twyfel, nee. Okay, daar is 2 datums vir die kursus. In julle vakansie is daar 2 datums. Nou ek het 'n inligtingstuk, I got an information piece over here. So people which are interested can take one. There are 2 dates in the school holidays, which you guys can book on if you're interested. The price is normally 12,500 Rand for the course, but you guys get 1,500 Rand discount, Centurion Akademie. So the course is then 11,000 Rand. That includes your accommodation, your food, and your training. All that it does not include, if you do not have your own rifle, then if you want to use the Academy's rifle, that is 800 Rand extra. That includes then your course ammunition. Okay, so, it's all written on that little info sheet. Ek het nou ongelukkig net Afrikaans hierso, maar ek gaan vir julle deurstuur, ek gaan Engelse ene, so the guys that want an English one, I will be emailing them an English one, and then they will distribute it for you, if you want an English one only. Okay, so, do you have any questions? Ek kan eintlik baie lank praat oor die kursus, maar ek kom maar net vir julle die basiese, ja. I'm sorry, but my hearing is not very good. What's that?
Just for interest's sake, so if we have to bring our own rifle and have one, what caliber would you recommend?
Okay, minimum caliber of rifle is a 243 minimum, bolt action with a telescope. Because guys arrive there with pump actions and lever actions, the cowboys and goed. So, it must be a bolt action, and it must be at least a 243. Okay. So, 243, dit behoort eintlik meer te wees, maar die nasionale norm sê 'n 243 is aanvaarbaar. En dit is maklik om veral spoedskiet te doen met 'n 243. The rifle that I have that the students use are 308s. Okay, so I've got a bull barrel one which you use for the long distance, and a short light one for the speed shooting. Okay. Any more questions? Enige vrae? Yes. Sê weer? 12. Ja, ons probeer dit by 12 hou. Daar kom dit nie sommer meer as 12 nie. So as die groep groter is, when the groups are bigger than 12, it becomes a little bit, for example, on the shooting range, if you've got to wait for 12 guys or more than 12 guys to shoot, it becomes a bit of a waste of time. So what we often do then is we break into 2 groups. 6 guys will go to the range and 6 guys will go and do something else, measuring methods, for example. And then we'll switch around, just to try and save some time. But in lectures, it doesn't matter if you have 12 or 6, it doesn't matter. So we've got 6 rooms with 2 people per room. And each room obviously has its own shower and toilet and stuff. So we put 2 people in a room together, and there's 6 rooms, so we try and stick to 12. Say weer? Yeah. Guys, there are other courses too. There's other training as well. For example, there's a Buffalo course and a Big 5 course, a dangerous game course. Now, the dangerous game course, the requirements for the course is that a pachyderm, that is a thick-skinned animal, must get hunted on the course, and a cat, now a lion or whatever. Now you know the course becomes really expensive. because we're going to pay for all this. So I don't do that because of the cost implication. I mean, it's going to then cost each student like 80,000 Rand for the course. So, but what we do now is I do a buffalo hunting course, because with the leopard exports which are not happening, and imports of elephant to the United States which is not happening, and so the hunting of dangerous game in general has dropped a lot, except for buffalo. Lots of guys have buffalo. There's no problem in exporting buffalo trophies. So I have a buffalo hunting course, but obviously an entry requirement for the buffalo hunting course is that you must be a PH already. And you must have at least 21 days hunting experience with a PH. You can do that after the course, before or after, it doesn't matter. And then you do the 8-day buffalo hunting course, and when you qualify at the end of that 8 days, then you get a PH permit which says you can guide clients on plains game hunts, including buffalo. And that is the big need is for guys that want to hunt buffalo, because there are so many buffalo. Just to give you an idea, 5 times more buffalo get hunted every year than all the other dangerous game put together. 5 times more buffalo. So the need is for buffalo, to guide clients on buffalo. That is why we do a specialist buffalo course, buffalo hunting course. And then we hunt buffalo on that course. The maximum 8 students, and then the students will draw lots who's going to hunt the buffalo, and then we draw lots again for who's going to be his backup PH. Because the backup PH also gets to shoot on the client shot. Any more? Okay, just a general indication for me, who is interested in doing the course? Okay, so I think it looks like we could be near 12. It's always nice to do it with people you know, and instead of some other that you don't know, some weirdo or something. So you guys can maybe sit amongst yourselves, look what course is going to suit you, which date, and then you all book for the same date, because there are 2 possibilities there. What you do then is, if you've decided, go on the website and actually book. Once you book for that course, Jenny will contact you, then you pay 1,000 Rand deposit, and then we fix your seat on that course. Once your seat has been fixed on the course, you've paid your deposit, we will then email you some study material, the Roland Ward and SCI list you can study before the time, and then when you pay the balance when the course begins. Okay, so, but at least that 1,000 Rand deposit, that fixes your seat on the course, and you get the preparation information. What you need to bring along, skinning knife, binoculars, etc. Okay, any more questions? Verstaan julle alles, hoe die systeem werk? 30,000 Rand. Ja. Okay, is julle klaar? Okay, yes. Kom ek kan dit gou vir jou lees. So die datum is, die eerste datum is 26 Junie tot 6 Julie. So 26 Junie tot 6 Julie, en die tweede een is 10 tot 20 Julie. Ek dink die eerste datum gaan julle dalk beter pas. Okay. Goed. Ek sien van julle dan in Junie, Julie. Okay. Dankie.
Dankie baie. Hi guys, how are you doing? My name is AB and I've created Project Wild. So, let's start. I've created Project Wild in August in 2020, August, 31st of August, somewhere there. Basically, to aid wildlife and to aid rehabilitation in wildlife. So the main goals of Project Wild is wildlife prosthetics. I've built Project Wild solely on wildlife prosthetics. I was fortunate enough to be involved in the first prosthetic for an amputated rhino. I don't know if you guys have heard of Achilles. So he's basically on a rhino sanctuary, the rhino orphanage, little rhino orphanage. So I was lucky enough to be part of the team that built his first prosthesis. So Achilles basically is now on his 5th prosthesis. So the first prosthesis I was involved with, the second and the third one, the 4th prosthesis I've built by myself, and then the 5th one I was also involved with. So Project Wild is mainly based on wildlife prosthetics. But we also do wildlife rehabilitation and we aid conservation. If there's any conservation issues or conservation queries that you have or that any sanctuary have, we also assist with that. We work with various wildlife conservations, wildlife rehabilitation centers, wildlife rescue centers. So we work basically all over to help with conservation, to help with rehabilitation, and also prosthetics if needed. We also build prosthetics for domestic animals, but that's not my focus, but we're not going to say no to an animal. So basically, our biggest project that we had was the Achilles project that we are still busy with. He is basically growing day by day. As you know, a rhino grows until they are 6 years old. So Achilles basically grows every day bigger. So you need to make the prosthesis bigger as well. Because unfortunately, we do not have the technology or material to build a prosthetic leg that actually grows with the patient. So you have to replace the leg basically year by year or every 6 months. When we first started working with Achilles, we had to replace the leg literally every 6 months because he was growing so big. When he was about 2 years old, he already weighed about 1.3 tons. So he's quite a big boy, I must say. The other project, or big project that we are busy with is I'm busy building the first prosthetic wing for an eagle in the world. So you've obviously probably heard of, there's been worked on eagles before, like an eagle leg or an eagle paw or something. But this is the first prosthetic wing for an eagle. Nobody has ever built a prosthetic wing. I've been busy with the project for about a year now. Obviously, you do get a bit of speed bumps along the way, but I'm still busy with the project, the first eagle wing or prosthetic wing. So that is also one of the biggest projects that we've done or that we're busy with. I'm also in the process of collaborating with Rockwood Conservation. They are a rhino conservation in the North Cape. I'm also busy collaborating with them. They have a rhino called Nooks. So Nooks is a rhino. She was born with very weak limbs, very weak joints as well. So every time that she walked, she hyperextended or overflexed, basically. So we are busy collaborating with them, and we're trying to collaborate with them on a few other projects that they have as well. And then we also are busy collaborating with Care for Wild Sanctuary. They are basically also a rhino sanctuary, probably the biggest rhino sanctuary in South Africa. They also have a rhino called Goose. So Goose also, she is a poaching survivor. She survived the poaching, but obviously she got a few complications. So that's why we are also working with them, trying to fix Goose or trying to aid Goose to heal a bit better. As I mentioned, we also do work with a bit of domestic animals. We're not going to say no to any animal. So we are busy building or busy with a project where we build where I'm building a device to aid a overweight dog, actually a obese bulldog. It's a weight-bearing device that I'm busy building. And we had a project where we worked with a cat that had no control over her limbs. But unfortunately, the cat disappeared. It's actually a very sad story. The cat went to the vet and the cat never came back. So I'm trying to work out what happened there. I'm not trying to think about the worst possible outcome, but unfortunately the cat did not come back. So I'm busy with that. So basically, I've got a video of Achilles. So this is Achilles' fourth prosthesis. Sorry, it's his fourth prosthesis. I've got a video. Let's see if it plays. There we go. It's basically where he started to walk for the first time with his prosthesis. And they get a bit used to it. And they basically are almost used to the leg. Achilles is very used to prosthesis or prosthetic devices because we've been working with Achilles since he was about 6 months old. So he's very used to prosthetic devices. Obviously, each time he gets a new device, it is a bit strange for him. He does feel a little bit strange, and he does kick a bit, like the dogs like kick or something. But inside the first 10 minutes, you do get used to it. So the next video I have is actually the process of where we are casting the prosthetic eagle, Bap. His name is actually short for Big Ass Bird, because American volunteers came and they saw this big ass bird and they're like, what is this bird? So they called him Bap. So he is a martial eagle, and we're building the prosthetic wing for him. As you can see, it's a bit difficult to see, but he is missing part of his wing. He's missing the alula part of his wing, which is basically the digitals of the eagle. So basically, he's missing that part, which we are trying to replace for him. So there's also a video, just don't mind the music. This is basically the process where we cast them. Was basically the process that we casted him. We do follow a process when we start working with a specific animal, or when we start working with a specific conservation. So the process largely depends on the animal that you're dealing with and the situation and the case study. So first of all, we'd like to reach out. So we reach out with the conservation or the sanctuary or the wildlife rescue center. Call it what you want. We reach out to them. They tell us, well, we've got this case, we've got this problem. Can you help us? We say, yes, we can. Let's see what we can do. So then the next step is we try to get as much information as possible. We learn the whole animal's history. We learn the conservation's history, the sanctuary's history. We basically get as much information as possible. The most important thing for me is through Project Wild, I want to create a relationship with the animal. So this is not a situation where we build the animal, we help the animal, and that's that, thank you, next. We continue visiting the animal, we build a relationship with the animal, because the animal won't recover as good or as well as it can if it doesn't have the love and the human touch that is needed, basically. So we build a relationship with the animals. So that's why we like to obtain as much information as possible. We spend time with the animal as well. So then our next step is a visit. We go to the sanctuary or the center, and then we visit the animal, we meet the animal. We start to get used, or we let the animal get used to you, because when you're working with wildlife and with wild animals, they are a bit wary of you. So you do need to get that connection, you need to get that relationship going. So we work with the animal, we play with the animal a bit, and we see what we can do. So then the next step is we do an assessment. This is basically where we look at the injuries, we assess the animal, and then we basically just make a decision on where to go from here. What can we do? What can be done? Can the animal be rehabilitated? Obviously, my goal is to rehabilitate any animal, doesn't matter what the situation is. With Project Wild, we try to euthanize as less as possible, or we try to let the euthanasia scenario disappear. We don't like it when people go that route, so we try to give the animal an extra life or an extra few years. So that is why we always try to help the animal. It doesn't matter what the problem is. Then the next step is we plan for treatment, either at the conservation or back home. We plan the treatment and we see what we can do. And then step 6 is actually the treatment, where we actually build the prosthetic, or we work on the treatment plan or the rehabilitation plan. We work with the conservation as well, and we work with various vets as well, so that we can get the best rehabilitation and the best rehabilitation plan as possible. And then basically we visit again, we see how the treatment is going, we see how the prosthetic fit, because the prosthesis needs to fit, actually. So then we see how the prosthesis fit, we fit it, and we let the animal walk with the prosthesis, and we basically let the animal get accustomed to the prosthesis. And then, as I mentioned, we like to do check-ups as well. So I revisit a lot of sanctuaries. I still keep contact with everyone that I work with. You revisit them, and if you cannot revisit them, you reach out. You do a Skype meeting or a Zoom meeting or whatever new thing is in the market these days, and you basically just reach out and you check up on them. You ask them how are they doing, how's the animal doing, and they basically just give feedback. So that is basically the whole process that we do at Project Wild. We try to create as much awareness as possible. We try to create as much knowledge to teach, basically, because this is not an everyday thing. You don't hear every day of someone, let's go build a prosthesis for a rhino, or let's go build a prosthesis for a cheetah, or let's go work with a springbok that does not have a leg. You don't hear about that stuff, and it needs to be heard more. That's why we're doing all of these there's trouble, or not trouble, that's why we go through all of these processes to create as much awareness as possible. And that's where you guys come in. I try to involve you guys as well as much as possible. Like a lot of the nature management students and a lot of vet students, actually, they come to me and they say, but at Onderstepoort or somewhere else, we don't get enough wildlife exposure, because Onderstepoort and all of these places, they are mainly focused on domestic animals. So then I say, well, come with me. When I have a case, we go together, we work on the case together. And through that way, we build more awareness, and we build more experience for guys like you, we build more experience for guys like me, and the animal gets just all the love and attention that it needs, and the animal survives, and we survive, and everyone is just happy. There's no war, and everyone is just basically happy. So that is basically the goal and the plan, and everything around Project Wild. We also do collaborations with a lot of people. As I mentioned, we are busy with a lot of sanctuaries and reserves in South Africa. We also are collaborating with Bionic Pets. It's probably the biggest animal prosthetist in the world. His name is Derek. I chat to Derek a lot. He is in America. He travels the whole America, travels through every state, and just works on as many animals as he can. So we are basically collaborating with him. As I mentioned to Paula before, I'm also busy working with 2 other eagles out of Hungary. The eagles have some sort of foot abnormality, and they actually ask us to help with that as well. But unfortunately, it's winter now there, so they just want the winter to pass, and then as soon as the winter passed, we're going to start a collaboration as well. So we work with a lot of people, and we try to collaborate as much as possible. We also do have a few shirts and hoodies and something nice as well, just for some extra awareness. It just creates a bit more extra showcase and extra awareness. So that is basically everything from Project Wild. We've got a website. I've got a few cards here as well if you have any questions and if you want any contact information. We are actually on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook as well. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter yet. That's our email. That's our website. We do have a website as well with all our information and everything. And that is basically everything from Project Wild, I believe. That's everything from Project Wild. Thank you so much, guys. If you have any questions or anything, you're more than welcome to just come up and ask. Thanks a lot, guys. Do you have any questions or not? Nothing? Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.